Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya. Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Teachings of Queen Kunti, Chapter 26. Enchantment by Krishna's Glories. Shri Krishna Krishna Sakha Vrishni Rishabhavani Drug Rajanya Vamsha Dahananapa Varga Virya Govinda Godvijasuratti Haravatara Yogeshwarakhila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief among the descendants of Vrishni, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distress of the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances. So, Aishwarya Bhava, glorification. A summary of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is made herein by Srimati Kunti Devi. The Almighty Lord has his eternal transcendental abode, where he is engaged in keeping Surabhi cows. He is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. He descends on the material world to reclaim his devotees and to annihilate the disturbing elements in groups of political parties and kings who are supposed to be in charge of administration work. Reclaim his devotees. He creates, maintains, and annihilates by his unlimited energies, and still is always full with prowess and does not deteriorate in potency. The cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees of the Lord are all objects of his special attention because they are very important factors for the general welfare of living beings. So this is the most important thing, isn't it? General welfare of living beings. So who are meant for the general welfare of living beings? Cows, brahmanas, and devotees. Because they are meant for the general welfare of living beings, they are objects of his special attention. So we should always remember that Krishna has special attention. Krishna gives special attention to his devotees. Because they are very important factors. Very important factors. Cows, brahmanas, and devotees are very important factors for the general welfare of all living beings. And living beings are in ignorance, so the devotees have to go and wake them up. Jeev jago, jeev jago. We have to wake up the sleeping living beings. So for us to wake somebody else up, we should ourselves be awake. So first we should be awake, then we should wake others up. If we are not awake, then we should let others wake us up. But we cannot be in ignorance after coming into Krishna consciousness. Kunti addresses Lord Krishna as Krishna Sakha because she knows that although Arjuna, who is also known as Krishna, He is her son and therefore subordinate to her. Lord Krishna is more intimately related with Arjuna than with her. Krishna Sakha. Krishna. See, Krishna and Krishna. Krishna is also the name of Draupadi. And so the word Krishna Sakha also indicates Lord Krishna's relationship with Draupadi, whom he saved from being insulted when Duryodhana and Karna attempted to strip her naked. Kunti also addresses Lord Krishna as Vrishni Rishabha, the child of the dynasty of Vrishni. It was because Krishna appeared in the Vrishni dynasty that this dynasty became famous, just as Malaysia and the Malaya Hills became famous because of the sandalwood that grows there. Kunti Devi also addresses Lord Krishna as the destroyer of the political parties or royal dynasties that disturb the earth. In every monarchy, the king is honored very gorgeously. Why? Since he is a human being and the other citizens are also human beings, why is the king so honored? The answer is that the king, like the spiritual master, is meant to be the representative of God. The king is called Naradeva. Uh, and he is a representative of God. In the Vedic literature, it is said, Acharyam mam vijaniyan navamanyeta karhichit. The spiritual master should not be regarded as an ordinary human being. See, this I've been highlighting multiple times. We should not bring spiritual master to our level. We should not consider the spiritual master as an ordinary human being. We should not consider his body as ordinary material body. This is an offense. Similarly, a king or president is also not treated like an ordinary human being. In Sanskrit language, the king is also called Naradeva, which means God in human form. His duty is like that of Krishna, as God is the supreme living being in the universe and is the maintainer of all other living beings. The king is the supreme citizen in the state and is responsible for the welfare of all others. So the king cannot be secular. We cannot have secular administrators. We have to have administrators who are functioning on the spiritual platform. Yesterday somebody was saying there's some school. It's being run by so-called Hindus, but they discourage people from wearing bindi, from wearing chain, from wearing bangles, all this. And they've named the school as convent, meaning some English school. So these are administrators, right? He's a teacher, he's a principal. They're supposed to actually give guidance to the people in general. That is why Bhagavatam says, Guru na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat. One should not become a guru, a father or a mother if we can't show our dependents the path of life. Just as we are all living beings, Krishna God is also a living being. Krishna is not impersonal. Because we are all individual persons, but our knowledge and opulence are limited. The impersonalists cannot adjust to the idea that the Supreme, the original unlimited cause of everything, can also be a person. Because we are individual persons and we are limited, we think others are also limited. So we can't think that Supreme Lord can be unlimited. The impersonalist thinks, no. Something which is unlimited cannot have a form. He cannot be a person. Because we are limited and God is unlimited, the Mayavadis or impersonalists, with their poor fund of knowledge, meaning they don't understand, think that God must be impersonal. Because person means limited in their conception, in their thought process. Person means limited. Supreme Lord is unlimited, so he cannot be a person. So he is impersonal. Making a material comparison, they say that just as the sky, which we think of as unlimited, is impersonal. If God is unlimited, he must also be impersonal. So wrong comparison. They're comparing a sky, a non-living entity, with God, who is a living being. So nonsense logic. Prabhupada elsewhere makes a lot of criticism about this Mayavad, especially in Chaitanya Charitamrita. You have to compare things of similar nature, not of dissimilar nature. But that is not the Vedic instruction. The Vedas instruct that God is a person, Krishna is a person, and we are also persons. But the difference is that he is to be worshipped, whereas we are to be worshippers. But we continue to want to be worshipped by others. This is our material disease. The king or president is a person, and the citizens are also persons. But the difference is that the president or king is an exalted person who should be offered all respect. Now, why should so many persons worship one person? Because that one person provides for the others. Eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman. God is one and we are many, but he is worshipped because he provides for everyone. It is God who provides food and all the other necessities of life. We need water, and God has nicely arranged for oceans of water with salt mixed in to preserve it all nicely. See, why is salt there? To preserve it all nicely. Then, because we need drinking water, by God's arrangement, the sunshine evaporates the water from the ocean, takes it high in the sky, and distributes clear, distilled water. Just see how God is providing everything that everyone needs. So beautiful. Even in ordinary life, the state has a heating department, lighting department, plumbing department, and so on. Why? Because there are amenities we require. But these arrangements are subordinate. Subordinate, meaning they are not the primary arrangement. The primary or the first arrangement is that of God. God has given all the ingredients, then man can utilize them in the proper way. Or God, man should utilize them in the proper way. It is God who originally supplies heat, light, and water. It is God who supplies the rainwater that fills our wells and reservoirs. Therefore, the original supplier is God. God is an intelligent person who knows that we need heat, light, water, and so on. Without water, we cannot produce food. Even those who eat animals cannot do so without God's arrangement, for the animal also must be provided with grass before one can take it to the slaughterhouse. Thus, it is God who is supplying food, but still we are creating rebellion against Him. See, this is this is our stupidity. He is supplying everything, but we are rebelling Him only. The word druk means rebellious. Those rascals, yeah, this is the right word, are who are going against the law of God are rebellious. The king's duty is to act as the representative of Krishna or God. Otherwise, what right does he have to take so much honor from the citizens? Monarchy was formally present in every country, but because the kings rebelled against God and violated his laws, because they tried to usurp the power of God and did not act as his representatives, the monarchies of the world have nearly all disappeared. So, this is the original arrangement of God: monarchy, king, one who rules, shasana, shist, discipline, ruling, ordering. This is the position of a king. But because all the kings, they rebelled against God, now monarchy is destroyed. Democracy is not the right form of administration. It is monarchy, king. Because democracy is demon crazy, Prabhupada said. Like, why demons, for demons? No sense. No qualification of the people who are voting, no qualification of people being voted. And what does it result in? Tughlaq. Tughlaq's administration. The kings thought that their kingdoms were their personal property. I have so much property, such a big kingdom, they thought. I am God. I am the Lord of all I survey. But that is not actually the fact. The fact that is the everything belongs to God. Isha vasyamidam sarvam. Therefore, the representative of God must be very obedient to God. And then his position will be legitimate. Greedy, self-interested kings are like false spiritual masters who proclaim that they themselves are God. Because such false masters are rebellious, they have no position. A spiritual master is supposed to act not as God but as the most confidential servant of God by spreading Krishna consciousness, God consciousness. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastre Uktaha. All the Shastras, the Vedic literatures, say that the spiritual master is to be honored as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, the idea that the spiritual master is as good as God is not bogus. It is stated in the Shastras. And therefore, those who are advanced in spiritual life accept this spiritual injunction. Uktas tatha bhavyata eva sadbihi. Then is the spiritual master as good as God? Kintu praborya priya eva tasya. Spiritual master is not God, but is the confidential representative of God. The distinction is that between Sevya Bhagavan, he who is worshipped, and Sevaka Bhagavan, he who is the worshipper. The spiritual master is God and Krishna is God, but Krishna is the worshipable God, whereas the spiritual master is the worshipper God. So for the disciple, the spiritual master is Sakshat Haritvena, like he has to be respected as good as God. But we should not misunderstand that the spiritual master is God. Spiritual master is God, not God. He is the worshipper God. He is the representative of God. He is the Sevaka Bhagavan. He is the worshipper. But he should be treated with that same respect as he should be treated like God. The Mayavadis cannot understand this. They think because the spiritual master has to be accepted as God, and because I have become a spiritual master, I have become God. This is rebellious. Those who are given a position by God but who want to usurp his power, which they actually cannot do, are rebellious fools and rascals who require punishment. Therefore, Kunti Devi says, Avani Dhrug, Rajanya Vamsha Dahana. You descend to kill all these rascals who rebelliously claim your position. All of us who are trying to become enjoyers are trying to rebelliously claim Krishna's position because he's the only enjoyer. We are the servants. We don't have any right to enjoy. We can enjoy when Krishna gives it to us. When the master gives it to the servant, servant takes it as prasadam. But not otherwise. Otherwise, we are rebellious. When various kings or landholders are subordinate to an emperor, they sometimes rebel and refuse to pay taxes. Similarly, there are rebellious persons who deny the supremacy of God and declare themselves God, and Krishna's business is to kill them. Now, when we hear these statements again, we think about some very gross asuras, demons. But we should also remove the demoniac nature in us, which is to enjoy, independent of Krishna. Because that is also a rebellion. That is why Prabhupada says that jivas are also envious of Krishna. To the extent we retain our enjoying propensity, to that extent we are actually envious of Krishna. We are trying to take his position. The word anapavarga indicates that Krishna's prowess is without deterioration. This word is the opposite of the word pavarga, which refers to the path of material tribulation. Okay, it's here. According to Sanskrit linguistics, the word pavarga also refers to the Sanskrit letters pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. Thus, when the word pavarga is used to refer to the path of material tribulation, its meaning is understood through words beginning with these 5 letters. So Prabhupada explains here. The word pa is parishrama, which means labor. In this material world, one must work very hard to maintain oneself. So this is parishrama, these are all 5 aspects of material tribulation, material miseries, material distress. Pa is parishrama. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Sharira yatrapi chate na prasidhyed akarmanaha. One cannot even maintain one's own body without work. Krishna never advised Arjuna, I am your friend, I shall do everything. You just sit down and smoke ganja. Krishna was doing everything, but still he told Arjuna, you must fight. See, Krishna was doing everything, but still he told Arjuna, you must fight. Not did Arjuna say to Krishna, you are my great friend. Better for you to fight and let me sit down and smoke ganja. No, that is not Krishna consciousness. A God conscious person does not say, God, you please do everything for me and let me smoke ganja. Rather, a God conscious person must work for God. But even if one does not work for the sake of God, one must work. See, there are two things here. One can work for the sake of God, one can work for themselves. For without work, one cannot even maintain one's body. We have to work either for God or for ourselves. This material world, therefore, is meant for parishrama, hard labor. So, in the initial stages, we work for ourselves, and that is called karma. Then we come to nishkama karma. We work without attachment to results. Then we come to yoga, which means that we work and we offer the results to Krishna. Then we come to Krishna karma, which is actually bhakti, which is working directly for the sake of God. That is the topmost. Prabhupada calls it Krishna karma in Bhagavad Gita. Even a lion, although king of the beasts, must still look for its own prey in the jungle. It is said, Nahi suptasya simhasya pravishanti mukhe mrigaha. A lion cannot think, since I am the king of the forest, let me sleep, and all the animals will come into my mouth. That is not possible. No, sir. Although you are a lion, you must go search for your food. Thus, even the lion, although so powerful, must endeavor with great difficulty to find another animal to eat. And similarly, everyone in this material world must work with great difficulty to continue his life. But it is not required that we work for ourselves. We can work for Krishna, and when we work for Krishna, Krishna says, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam. I will take care of you, don't worry. But we have to work. Thus, pa indicates parishrama, labor, and fa for fena, which means foam. While working very hard, a horse foams at the mouth. And similarly, human beings must also work hard in this way. Such hard labor, however, is vyartha, futile. And that is what is indicated by the word ba. Vyartha. And bha indicates bhaya, fear. Despite working so hard, one is always somewhat fearful that things will not be done as he desires. The nature of the body is that it involves eating, sleeping, mating, and fearing. Ahara nidra bhayamaitunamcha. Although one may eat very nicely, one must consider whether one is overeating so that he will not fall sick. But we say this in Krishna consciousness because all other gates are locked, tightened. So initially, devotees are allowed to eat as much as they want. But as we make progress in Krishna consciousness, if we are making progress in Krishna consciousness, then we'll realize that this too much eating is not good. Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu. So then we restrict our eating to only as much as is required. We don't overeat. But that's okay. If we are in the stage of overeating, no harm. Fully purifying. Prasadam is fully purifying, so we can eat as much. But slowly we'll come to that stage. Thus, even eating involves fear. A bird while eating looks this way and that way, fearful that some enemy may be coming. And for all living entities, everything finally ends in death, mrityu. And this is what is indicated by the letter ma. The pavarga and its component letters are pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. Indicate hard labor, parishrama, foam at the mouth, pena, frustration, vyartha, fear, bhaya, and death, mrityu. This is called pavarga, the path of material tribulation. Apavarga, however, just indicates the opposite, the spiritual world, where there is no labor, no foam, no frustration, no fear, and no death. Thus, Krishna is known as Apavarga Virya, for who he shows the path to the spiritual world. Why should one suffer from these 5 kinds of tribulation? Because one has a material body. As soon as one accepts a material body, whether it is that of a president or a common man, a demigod or a human being, an insect or a Brahma, one must go through these tribulations. This is called material existence. Krishna comes therefore to show on the path of Apavarga, freedom from these tribulations. And when Krishna shows this path, we should accept it. Krishna says very clearly, surrender unto me, I shall give you Apavarga. Aham tvam sarva papebhya mokshayishyami. I shall give you protection. And Krishna has the power with which to fulfill this guarantee. So we don't have to doubt. We don't have to doubt Krishna's ability. Krishna has the power, he can do it. So we have to simply surrender. And we've discussed this surrender multiple times. Kunti Devi addresses Krishna as Govinda because he is the giver of pleasure both to the cows and the senses. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govinda, Krishna, is the Adi Purusha, the original person. Aham Adirhi Devanam is the origin even of demigods like Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. People should not think that Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are the origin of everything. No. Krishna says, Aham Adirhi Devanam. I am the origin even of these demigods. Therefore, we repeatedly emphasize that we worship no one but the original person. Govinda Adipurusham Tamam Bhajami. So emphasize that we worship no one else. So we should not be worshipping no one, anybody else. I see many devotees still engaged in some kind of demigod worship for whatever reason. Some stage we should get out of all this. Some stage of our bhakti. That stage means Sarvadharman Parityaja. At that time we have completely, at least we have begun the process of full surrender. First, demigod worship has to be stopped. When Kunti prays Go Dvija Surarti Haravatara, she indicates that Govinda Kṛṣṇa descends to this world, especially to protect the cows, brahmanas, and the devotees. The demoniac in this world are the greatest enemies of the cows, for they maintain hundreds and thousands of slaughterhouses. Although the innocent cows give milk, the most important food, and although even after death the cows give their skin for shoes, people are such rascals that they kill the cows. But they still want to be happy in this world. How sinful they are. How can we be happy by ill-treating, troubling other jivas? This is called jiva himsa. One cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness if he is doing jiva himsa. And this jiva himsa is not just other living entities. We should not give himsa to any jiva, human beings or otherwise. How sinful they are. We know that Mrugari, right? He was a great killer of animals, and then he is not stamping over on ants also. He is looking 3 feet forward ahead to see if there are any ants before he puts his food. This is Krishna consciousness. Why is cow protection so much advocated? Because the cow is the most important animal. There is no injunction that one should not eat the flesh of tigers or other such animals, meaning one can eat such animals, but not cows. In the Vedic culture, those who are meat eaters are recommended to eat the flesh of goats, dogs, hogs, or other lower animals, but never the flesh of cows, the most important animals. While living, the cows give important service by giving milk, and even after death, they give service by making available their skin, hooves, and horns, which may be used in many ways. Nonetheless, the present human society is so ungrateful that they needlessly kill these innocent cows. Therefore, Krishna comes to punish them. Krishna is worshipped with this prayer. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. My Lord, you are the well-wisher of the cows and the brahmanas, and you are the well-wisher of the entire human society and world. Well-wisher, Jagat Hitaya. For perfect human society, there must be protection of God Dvija, the cows and the brahmanas. The word Dvija refers to the Brahmana, or one who knows Brahman, God. When the demoniac give too much trouble to the brahmanas and the cows, Krishna descends to re-establish religious principles. Actually, one of the religious principles for Grihastha is to invite brahmanas, Vaishnavas home and actually give them charity. And sometimes, of course, we don't have ideal brahmanas, but ideal brahmana is one who comes, does whatever puja, whatever you want him to do, and after that doesn't ask for any remuneration. He just does his work and he is ready to leave. At that time, the yajaman, the person who got the puja or whatever done, has to have the sense to give some dakshina. And we should not ask. And even if we ask, a real brahmana will not say, give me X thousand or X hundred, whatever that is. Brahmana will say, whatever you feel like. And the householder should not think, oh, very nice. Okay, I can cut it now. I can use that extra money somewhere else. No, we should give wholeheartedly because Krishna is pleased. But of course, the Brahmana has to be qualified. So definitely, for Vaishnavas, one should give charity. Grihasthas have to give charity. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharata and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. In the present age, Kali Yuga, people are very much sinful and are consequently suffering greatly. Therefore, Krishna is incarnated in the form of his name, as found in the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Queen Kunti prayed to the Lord just to enunciate a fragment of his glories. The Lord, upon hearing her prayers, which were composed in choice words for his glorification, and that is why Krishna is also called Uttama Shloka. His glorification is also Uttama Shloka. Responded by smiling, and his smile was as enchanting as his mystic power. Enchanting. Krishna's mystic power enchants. What is the example of Krishna's mystic power which enchants? Maya, external energy, enchanting us every moment. Krishna's smile is as enchanting as his mystic power. The conditioned souls who are engaged in trying to lord it over the material world are also enchanted by the Lord's mystic powers. But his devotees are enchanted in a different way by the glories of the Lord. Of course, devotees are enchanted by Yoga Maya, and conditioned souls are enchanted by Mahamaya. Thus, all the devotees worship the Lord by chosen words. Actually, we should know. We should know to glorify the Lord by chosen words. I've been wanting to do this. Memorize some of these verses so that we can glorify the Lord. No amount of chosen words are sufficient to enumerate the Lord's glory, yet He is satisfied by such prayers, just as the Father is satisfied even by the broken linguistic attempts of a growing child. Broken words of a child. What can we glorify Krishna? How can we glorify Krishna? But even if a sincere attempt, Krishna is satisfied. Thus the Lord smiled. So Prabhupada is explaining why he smiled. He smiled. Even though the prayers were, now prayers can be complete. They're not sufficient to enumerate the Lord's glory. But still, as a father, Lord accepts. He smiled and accepted the prayers of Queen Kunti. So this, for example, this is another thing we should look at in Bhagavatam. Is different prayers of different devotees are in different bhava, different rasa. So we have to, yeah, we will get naturally attracted to some prayers more than others, and we should try to go deeper in them. Somebody might be um, impressed by, say, some prayer like this. Somebody might be interested in, say, some prayer by Sakas. Somebody might be interested in some prayer by Yashodamaya or Nanda Maharaj, some prayer by Gopis, etc. Right? So depends on our inclination, and we should actually go into the depths of such prayers. Because everything is Krishna's glorification according to our position, according to our rasa. Okay, so it was Aishwarya, and so I didn't have to explain much. It's all known information. So Krishna is all powerful. Krishna is all powerful, and that is why in Bhagavad Gita, first he talks about himself, Purushottama Yoga. Why Krishna is talking about himself being powerful? Yesterday also we discussed this. Because people have to have faith in before they surrender to Krishna. So Krishna is canvassing for himself, saying that don't worry, I'm super powerful. Simply have faith and surrender to me. And then when we surrender to him, then slowly we make progress. Then we forget that Krishna is Supreme Lord. So that is the perfection, Raga Anuga Bhakti. But of course, we cannot do that artificially. We have to make gradual progress, and eventually come to this position where we might actually just forget that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. But initial stage, this Aishwarya, this opulence of Krishna, the power of Krishna, these are what attract people. They want to come to Krishna, so they feel like, oh, I've come to Krishna, so Krishna will protect me. Yeah, Krishna will say, yes, I protect you. Artha Arthati Jignasu Gnani Cha Bharatharshava. It's okay, come to me. No problem, I'll take care. But we have to make progress from that stage. Okay, so with this, actually, we end teachings of Queen Kunti. So many of you attended these sessions every day. So I'd like to thank you. And like Sumantra Mataji was asking, we can do one session maybe tomorrow for question and answers. Most of you are actually attending every day, so it won't make too much of a difference. If others have question and answers, you can always ask anytime. anyone asks next Sunday. So next I have to think what to start. Somebody was suggesting Bhishma Dev's prayers. So I was thinking Kapila's prayers. So we'll see, because Kapila's prayers have there's a book, right? So Bhishma Dev prayers we'll have to go by Bhagavatam only. So we'll see. Just maybe anyway we have one more day time, because tomorrow we'll do some general question and answers, and then maybe from day after we can start a new book. Any suggestions if you have, you can personally just WhatsApp me. Okay. Any questions from anybody? Nothing much to ask today. Simple, non-stop. Non-stop, but we don't fully accept. Anyway. Okay, and we'll stop here. Thank you all for joining. Sorry, today was a short session because I had some other service. I had cooking service, so I couldn't join at 8. Yeah. Thank you
Hare
very
Krishna,
much.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
One question, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
What is the difference between all the three women in this Kunti Maharani, Draupadi Maharani, and Uttara? Their surrender, is it the same, or is they have a difference in their surrender?
Yeah. Okay. Good question. Draupadi, Uttara.
And Kunti Maharani.
See, actually, yeah, I mean, and there is we have to look at it in two ways. One is their relationship, because all of them are related, right, to Krishna. Now, obviously, Krishna will also consider that in his reciprocation. Kunti Maharani, Kunti Maharani is, see, Uttara is okay. Let me answer. Uttara is possibly the easiest from whatever I know Bhagavatam. From Bhagavatam, Uttara mainly just depended. She was a pure devotee. She just depended on Krishna when she had a problem, right? But there aren't many verses which actually explain her mood of devotion. So I am not qualified, because I have not read any authentic Mahabharata to actually answer this question. So I will not be able to answer that. Now, between Draupadi and Kunti Maharani, obviously there's a big difference. Like Draupadi, Krishna is considered as a friend of Draupadi. Like that, that is answered in this purport only. Prabhupada is saying, right? That is why Draupadi is also called Kṛṣṇa. But Kunti Maharani is not looking at herself as being so intimate to Krishna, with Krishna. Though she's more at a elderly position. Krishna also respects her, right? But Krishna's relationship with Draupadi is slightly different. Right. So more closer relationship looks like from at least whatever we read in Bhagavatam about Draupadi and Krishna's relationship. So yeah, I think it's a little bit more Aishwarya in Kunti Maharani's relationship, and a little less Aishwarya. But all the Pandavas are also Aishwarya only. Right?
Okay.
They are all in Aishwarya, but I think it seems like a little less Aishwarya and little Sakhya, little Sakhya. But yeah, that's a limited understanding. I'm speculating here because I'm trying to understand from what Prabhupada has written about these devotees, right? Because he's not directly obviously compared this. So from whatever reading, this is what I can conclude.
No, because in a Prabhuji, Uttara completely surrendered. Like she didn't even think twice. She completely surrendered to Krishna. But Draupadi held on to herself. Like,
No,
just that. I'm just asking. I just
no.
wanted that difference. I wanted to understand
No,
that.
they're all perfectly pure devotees. They're all fully surrendered, right?
Okay.
I mean, see, the difference is possibly in the situation, and difference is how much. Actually, see, it's a very interesting question in the sense that when Krishna wants to glorify a devotee, he puts his devotee through more difficulties.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, Uttara, she was by herself. Okay, some Astra is coming, and she was not really worried about herself. Right? She just prayed for her son, for this, child in the womb. But it's not humiliation. It's just death. Humiliation is worse than death.
Yes,
Right?
Prabhuji.
And Draupadi's position was unimaginable. I mean, as women, you will possibly understand much better, right? It's
Yes.
unimaginable, right? And in that position, Krishna wanted to glorify Draupadi, right? Saying that that even though such a tribulation, and see, a devotee doesn't mean that when he's in trouble, he or she doesn't try anything at all. So Draupadi did what and Krishna, even in this sloka, it is there, right? Like Arjuna was not. Krishna was telling Arjuna, go sit and smoke ganja, right? So devotees will do their bit, right? Whatever they need to, and Draupadi did what she was expected to do in that situation, right? Otherwise, she would have been called something else, right? If she didn't resist at all. So she had to maintain her own Stri dharma, right? And she did that. But she knew within saying that she will not be able to do that. She will not be able to protect herself. And because she surrendered, she didn't think about even her husbands who were like so great, right? She didn't think about anybody. She simply called out to Krishna. Draupadi, I mean, even this one, Akshay Patra,
Yes,
simply
Prabhuji.
called out to Krishna. Simply, Krishna, that's all. Who else can help? I mean, husband is standing there and breaking his head, Yudhishthira, what to do now, right? So, I mean, all these three devotees are surrendered, fully
Yes,
perfect, pure devotees, right? Just that their
yes,
mood of service is slightly different,
different.
right?
Yes,
But
yes,
they're
Prabhuji.
all completely surrendered devotees. And when
And
Krishna deals with his perfect pure devotees, he has different reasons why he will make different people do different things. So, just by that, we should not be concluding that whether they are fully surrendered or not, because otherwise they won't get a chance to associate with Krishna so closely.
yeah,
So they are perfect pure devotees.
yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Then, okay. Thank you. Mataji makes me think, which I'm happy. Okay. Jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnava ki jai. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaura Bhakta ki jai. Hare Krishna.